If you are ready to break out of middle management and move into senior leadership, your meetings that involve senior leaders matter more than you think. Not because these meetings are where work gets done necessarily, but because these are the meetings where leaders decide who they trust, who they listen to, and who they see as a future peer. I spent over 20 years as a SVP and head of HR inside Fortune 500 companies. I sat in the room where director and VP promotions were being decided, and I can tell you this: most people don't plateau because they're not great at their jobs. They plateau because of how they're showing up in meetings, because it might signal they're playing at the wrong level. And today I want to walk you through 3 things that you should start doing in meetings if you want to be seen as ready for senior leadership now. And I'm going to give you real practical examples. Number 1, stop spilling details and start influencing. This is the biggest mistake I see from high performers at the middle management level. You walk into a meeting and you do what you've always done. You explain because you know deeply. You justify. You walk everyone through the process step by step. You think that you're being helpful, but here's what senior leaders hear. This person executes well, but they're still operating in the weeds. So here's what influence looks like in practice. And I'm going to give you a real example. Here's the middle management version. We looked at 3 vendors. Vendor A is cheaper, but slower. Vendor B is faster, but more expensive. And vendor C has capacity issues. We ran the numbers, reviewed the timelines, and here's the spreadsheet. Now, you've lost the room in this scenario. The senior leader version of this sounds like this. We evaluated 3 vendors. Based on timeline risk and margin impact, I recommend vendor B. It costs more upfront, but it protects Q4 delivery and avoids downstream rework. Happy to walk through details if it would be helpful. Do you see the difference there? It's the same work, but it's a different attitude. Directors and VPs don't influence by providing a lot of information. They influence by making it easier for others to decide what step to move forward with. If you want to get promoted in your job, meetings need to be where you prove that you've done the work and you understand that you can think with the broader business in mind. The second thing you should do is socialize your recommended actions before the actual meeting. This is where a lot of strong performers unknowingly hurt themselves because they walk into a meeting thinking, I know my stuff, I'm going to just present my recommendation and see what everybody thinks. Now, at the senior level, that's very risky because executives don't like being surprised and they don't like being cornered into reacting in a public forum. So what senior leaders actually do before the meeting is they pre-wire. This means having 1 or 2 short conversations in advance with key stakeholders, testing their thinking, surfacing concerns, allowing them to surface their concerns privately with you, adjusting their recommendations before it goes public in the meeting. So here's a practical example. Let's say you're going to recommend a change that impacts another team. So instead of dropping it cold in the meeting, you send a message or grab 10 minutes. Hey, I'm planning to recommend option B in tomorrow's meeting because of the timeline risk. I wanted to pressure test it with you first. Any concerns I should be thinking about? Now, a few things happen here. Number 1, you avoid blindsiding anyone, which is a big misstep. 2, you identify pushback early so you can address it. 3, you show that you think cross-functionally. And 4, you walk into the meeting aligned. When the meeting happens, the conversation now sounds like this. As I discussed with Alex earlier, here's the recommendation. That's senior leadership behavior, not because it's political, but because it's strategic and it's respectful of the system. Shift number 3, confront conflict. Don't smooth it over. And this is where people pleasers quietly stall their careers. In executive meetings, tension can be normal sometimes. Different priorities, different incentives, different opinions, big egos. A lot of times middle managers try to reduce tension. Senior leaders know how to work through it. So what conflict actually looks like is this. Here's a common scenario. One leader might be pushing for speed, and another leader pushes for cost control, sales, finance. The room gets uncomfortable. Middle management response would be to stay quiet, nodding along, trying to keep everybody happy, saying, we'll take it offline. And this can read as, they don't have the backbone for senior leadership. So what does confronting conflict look like at a senior level? Well, that response might sound like this. It sounds like we're optimizing for different outcomes here. Speed protects the revenue, cost protects the margin. If we had to prioritize one for this quarter, what matters more to the business? Notice, calm, control, direct, no blame, no emotional charge. You're not creating conflict, you're naming it. So the group can now move forward. Executives trust people who can hold tension without flinching. Here's the big takeaway. People don't get promoted into senior leadership because they talk more in meetings. They get promoted because how they talk signals judgment, confidence, range. If you want to break out of middle management, start doing these 3 things. Lead with influence, not detail. Rewire your recommendation with key stakeholders and address conflict head on instead of smoothing it over. These are really subtle shifts, but they can dramatically change how you're perceived almost immediately. If you want help diagnosing what's held you back, feel free to get time with me. The link below is to my calendar, and I'm happy to talk through your situation. And if this was useful, subscribe. This channel is where I break down how promotions actually work without fluff and without guesswork.